everyone, and welcome to another episode of Get Out of Rap. Today, I am joined by Callie Heads, who is Director of Sales at Betr Outsourcing. We have got to know each other over the last year. Callie, I saw on stage at the Northeast Contact Centre Awards, presenting an award, and she absolutely got the room jumping. And I was like, Callie, you have to come on the podcast. So, Callie, welcome.
Thank you so much for having us. And yes, I did get the stage jumping, but it was a great night. And you'll back us up on that one. It was so good.
It was really really good, and we were
Awesome.
just talking before hitting record. We're very similar for lots of reasons. So this is going to be interesting.
Yes. I mean, some people might see this as a positive, and some people might think, yeah, I know for a fine fact that if we start talking about that, Martin, what we've just been talking about, anyone that watches this that knows us is going to be like, here she goes again. They'll probably be surprised if I don't switch off mid conversation.
Well, it could happen to either one of us, but we're trying to keep each other
We'll try.
on track.
Yeah.
So better outsourcing. We'll talk about that in a bit. I love you guys, and you're director of sales. But what's been your kind of career journey to date?
Hmm. So call centers probably coming up to 15 years. So quite a long time. I was just a young pup. And I started on the phones as an agent, doing sales. And it was just a job. Honestly, it was just a job. Just I lived with mum and dad, didn't really need anything, just needed a little bit of money in the bank. And yeah, started there and I wasn't the best agent in the world, not gonna lie. I didn't have a halo on my head. I didn't really take anything serious. I just went in, done my stuff, went home. And then I moved into management within, I'm gonna say maybe it's like 2 years. And it's a weird story how I actually moved into management because it wasn't actually anything I wanted to do. So James Palmer, who I've worked with for the last 15 years, he decided one day that he wanted to progress. He's like, I'm done dialing, don't want to do it anymore. And we used to sit together for like 2, 3 years solid, best friends. And then I was left without my best pal, literally. And I was like, God, this is actually really boring. This is not what I want to do. So the interesting story of that is I actually decided to progress because I was bored and I thought, yeah, I may as well do that because he's done that and whatever. And then I got given a really good opportunity to manage an academy team, brand new agents that had come through the ranks and doing exactly what I had been doing for the last couple of years. And I realized that I actually loved it. I liked showing people, the ropes. I liked showing them how the job was done and all of that stuff. And then I very quickly realized that I'm not the most organized person in the world. And I'm not the most, like, I'm not when you think of manager, you think of a certain person. And I wasn't that person, but I could talk the talk. And I realized that just the people skills, like I love meeting new people. And I was like, yeah, this is sort of something I want to do. And then I moved from team manager to a senior team manager, and that was great. So I then had all of the people that I was managing around us, but then I had me manager friends. They then reported into me, which was difficult and interesting, but it was really, really inspiring. It was great. And then my old boss left, so he was like an ops manager, and it was crazy, crazy times. And he left, and I seen a bit of an opportunity and everything that he had taught us back in the day. And I thought, right, okay, I'll try and step into that. And I got promoted to ops manager. And I'd done that job for about 8 years, something like that. And it was honestly, when I say best thing I've ever done, and just the leadership that comes along with it and all the responsibilities and stuff. And then worked in the same company for a very long time. That it just went here 1 minute, gone the next. And then Richard Knox approached us and said, I want to set up a call center in Sunderland. I want you to head it up. And we went a bit to and fro, and then shared his vision, always had his back, and we've got very, very similar values and goals. And I was like, do you know what it is? Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I'm all in, take the risk. And here I am now, Betr Outsourcing. So been a bit of a bumpy journey, but I wouldn't change it. It's been absolutely amazing. Like the people I have met along this career that I've got is just friends for life, but also like people that don't work with us now that now work in different industries or different call centers. Like it's really good to have friends outside of your normal friend circle, but that also understand what you do for a living, so you can have that sort of that talk. But yeah, that's sort of my journey. Didn't want to do it, just done it because I was bored. Realized I actually loved it. Realized I was good at it. And yeah, just went from there. Really.
There's so I mean, I love all of it. We have so many similarities. It's untrue. Like that that route to the first step in management. I really love just like how authentic it is, because I've often talked about, I just felt like it was something I could do for the same reason as you, which was I like this company,
Mm-hmm.
but I am bored now on the phones
Yeah.
and I'm seeing other people around me go and become
Yeah.
team leader. So I might as well go for it. It's not like I had this burning desire to be a
Mm-hmm.
leader. And, that kind of the understanding that you could help people more,
Yeah.
you could help more people, and play a small part in them having a better life. That came sort of later. But I love the fact that it was just, and also having your busy. I don't think, unless, especially outbound dialing, right? You
Yeah.
need you
Oh
need
God.
a good
Yeah.
pod around you, but you definitely need a good best mate,
Yeah.
because they're the ones that keep you sane.
No, definitely. And we were literally joined at the hip, and it's so crazy to think like that was so long ago. And I actually probably I wasn't the best salesperson. Like I'm director of sales, but I was never ever ever like up here with the top sellers and all of that. I was very average Joe, and that is you've just hit the nail on the head. It's so important to, and even now, like when I look back, it's really important to surround yourself, because I think the job itself, it's not very like appetizing. It's not very appealing. Like you've got a headset on all of the time and you're talking to customers and all of that stuff. But if you enjoy what you do because of the people that you work with, then you don't really feel like you're at work. And I'm really grateful and really lucky enough to every time I've progressed or been promoted or developed in my career, I've always had a good set of people around us where the world could be on fire and something horrendous could be happening in the call center, and it doesn't matter because I've got me people. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
I'm really, really lucky because I know a lot of people that work in corporate jobs and they literally it's 9 to 5. They go to work, they come home, they haven't got that circle, they haven't got people they trust, rely on, they haven't got people that are fun as well. Like
yeah.
that's like the major thing for me. Like there's not a day goes by in my whole life when I go to work that I don't have a laugh. And I make so much time for it as well.
People that don't work in our industry, I've said this to them. It's like, how often do you belly laugh
Mm.
to the point where your cheeks are hurting? And they were like, yeah, now and again. I was like, it's every day.
Yeah.
If you're in the right center with the right people, it's every single day.
Yeah.
I would look forward to going to work mainly for that.
No, I
Like, because
am
I knew that
literally the
some
same.
people would have funny stories, that about something that had happened to them, or
No, well, that's it. Like, uh, I've got a lot of people that I used to work with that now have sort of went to different, like they're not in call center industries, and I look at them now, and anyone can dangle a nice, flashy salary, or they can, all these benefits that some companies come with, which is great, but it's all, in my opinion, it's all for nothing if you physically don't enjoy it. And
mm,
you're right, like belly laughing is, I mean, I'm the most immature 34-year-old director of sales that you'll ever meet, but it works because I enjoy what I do and I'm really passionate and I get to share it with other people that are passionate about it as well. Like having a personality and being able to not take yourself seriously, that is literally what it is. It's a game changer as well to have that mentality. And you'll hear us say quite a lot on this that I'm super grateful, but not just super grateful for opportunities that I've had or I've got. I'm super grateful for like the mindset that I've got as well, because I do believe it's quite rare. Like I don't get super stressed a lot either, and I'm in a super stressful job, and yeah, I'm one of the lucky ones. I am one of the lucky ones.
Were you even just a couple of things right at the start where you said, again, like me, I wasn't a top salesperson. And then latterly, when you are responsible for identifying people that might want to progress, I've seen firsthand that sometimes the top salespeople aren't necessarily good leaders.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that you were team manager, and then you had the opportunity to be ops manager, and then ops manager to senior manager. And you mentioned that managing your friends must have happened in like both times.
Yeah.
How did you find that?
At first, I found that really difficult because of the type of character I am. I was the funny friend. I was the friend that didn't take anything serious. If my manager at the time was saying, "Callie, stop doing this" or whatever, I'd be like, "Do you know what I mean?"
Yeah,
And to then go from that agent and that person to then you're managing those people that you surround yourself. It was hard. It was hard work. Um, and you almost think in your head, because they're my friends, they're not gonna take advantage of me in this position. And how wrong I was. When I say I got humbled very, very fast, like I mean it. And it takes conversations and really good communication to get you to that end goal. It's not just your title. You've got a title now which says team manager or senior manager or ops or whatever, and people should automatically respect you. It when I honestly humbled, it's the only word I can say, because you don't just gain respect because of your position in a business. And I learned that so fast. And I think the more I got to realize that it was actually about your people skills and how you actually deal with tough conversations, or if someone is maybe going a little bit crazy one day or they're not really taking you serious, it's about maybe it's taking them to one side and having that one-to-one chat. And it was a game changer for me, because it was like I used to think, well, I'll do a big session and I'll say, this is what I'm expecting. And my expectations are pretty high as well. So it was like, you're doing 50 sales, you're doing 100 a day because I'm here and all of this. And it just didn't work. Did not work at all. And it was just trying to, I always say favors for favors. So like if someone's down in the dumps or someone's having a hard time or someone's underperforming or whatever, like if you give them 100% of you and what you can physically give them, you always get 100% back. But if you do things like half and half, it never works. It never ever pays out. If you're going to do something, you do it wholeheartedly. And that was the catalyst for me, like just having those conversations and not instantly assuming that everyone's going to think oh, Callie's a manager now. It does not work like that for anyone watching. It does not work like that. And those people are still my friends now. Like they're still my friends, and we've got great mutual respect. And yeah, it was great. It was a really good experience. And if I could do it all over again, I would absolutely know the holes and the mistakes that I made to make sure it went a little bit smoother for myself.
it's so funny in it because it happens to so many of us in our industry,
Mm.
and it can be a bit of a minefield
Yeah,
because I again I was like you. I like to have fun. Sometimes that was at the expense of my manager or the
yeah,
group of managers. Much like at school, like we were talking about earlier. And to then expect, I had to check myself because I'd be like, right, when I'm doing a huddle or when I'm doing a session, everyone, I need you to be silent and listen to me.
Mhm.
And you'd be like, well, were you like that
Mm.
for your managers? No, of course not.
Yeah,
So it was like, hang on a minute, I've got to navigate this a bit differently. I disagree with people that say you can't be friends with either people in your team or other people around, regardless of where they are in the hierarchy. I think you absolutely can, and I did find it easier to talk to my friends and say, "Come on, can you give us a hand
Mhm.
here? This is like you're not helping me," and they'll be like, "Well, you are being a bit of an idiot."
yeah,
So and that really helped as
yeah,
long as you were able to sort of take it in. That really helped. But I really get the impression from you and from others because you're so highly spoke of
Mm.
that you will not you don't you mentioned something earlier about, oh, would I fit that mold of what a manager and then a senior manager and then a director is meant to look like, and you're just doing it your own way, you're doing it
Yeah.
authentically as you. But that people feel under pressure, don't they, to it either prevents them going for a role, or they think if I go for this role I'm going to have to change who I am.
Mhm. No, like it's so true. I feel like there is a lot of pressure in high pressured roles from management upwards. And I think people do think that you have to be a certain character, or you have to go from being what you are and what kind of personality you've got to overnight that stops. And there's no judgment on anyone to think that, because a lot of places you do have to do that. We're lucky because in the call center industry, it's personality is absolutely everything. But I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't struggle with that. It was a little bit like imposter syndrome at the very beginning. You've just got to sort of just you've got to keep going. You've got to plod on. You've got to get through it. But I think if you change yourself to conform to rules, regulations, or what other people want you to be, then you're not. I don't think you're going to last very long, because if someone promotes someone internally, they've promoted you based on what they've seen. If you then change the way that you are, you're not that same person. And don't get us wrong, growth is great. Like, I would lie if I said to you I have not grew incredible amounts in the last 15 years, because I have. My maturity levels are, and Richard Knox would absolutely disagree with this, but my maturity levels are a lot better than what they used to be. But biggest advice ever is you've got to stand strong on who you are, and you've got to make sure that you remember where you've come from. And that's a big thing that I always say. Like, I'm not going to go and tell someone or ask someone to do something that I've never done myself. And we've got a couple of managers in Betr that we work with, and that's sort of their mantra now. And it's like, I want you to do overtime, and I want you to dial to this time. I want you to dial this data set. I want you to get us 10 sales. Tell you what I'll do. I'll put the headset on myself. I'll do it. And it's almost like, wow. And that's how you sort of gain that like level of trust and respect with people. But never ever change yourself. I couldn't, even if I tried. And I have
Yeah.
tried in the past. And I actually think I'm better the way I am now. Do you know what I mean? I'm not, you've got to never take yourself too seriously, regardless.
I
And
think it's so important to people listening, watching this, but also where you are right now, right?
yeah,
That for them, you are a role model of what's
yeah,
possible without losing who you are.
yeah.
I've worked in places where I've looked at, especially the senior leaders, and think I'm not. They're so unlike me,
Mm-hmm.
uh, based on appearances. They didn't really interact with us too much, but I'd be like, a I don't understand a lot of the business the business talk,
Yeah.
but B, they're from another world.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe there's a ceiling to how far I can go. Now, thankfully, that wasn't true, but it will prevent people stepping
Mm.
forward unless they can go, well, you know what, Callie's definitely herself, and the others around you are themselves,
Yeah.
and because you're in a culture that celebrates that and
Mm-hmm.
promotes for competence, but also personality as well.
Yeah. No, definitely. I think over the years, and you're right in what you've just said there, is like, if I can do what I've done, honestly, there is hope for everyone else. And that's the truth, right? And I've got this, I can't remember where I read it now, somewhere a long time ago when I was going into the more senior roles of my career. And it was like, make sure that you're the dumbest in the room. And everyone's laughed at us for years about this, but it's almost like, I know what I'm good at, right? And I know my strengths, and I zone in on all of my strengths. I know what I'm really, really bad at, which is a lot of things. And I know my weaknesses, and it goes back to the way that my brain works. It's almost like, if I focused on it a bit more, I could probably become a little bit better at it. But this is over here. This is what I'm passionate about, and this is what
Yeah.
I'm good at. But when I sit in management meetings with my team, and there's 10 people, 11 people sat around the table, sometimes like it's like a pinch yourself moment where you're like, wow, like how am I surrounded by this much talent? And that's what I mean when I say the dumbest in the room. Like if I'm surrounded by people that are all individually great at things that I'm maybe not so great at, I can't fail. The business can't fail, and those guys can't fail. And it's something that I think a lot of people in really high up positions struggle with because you want to be the best at absolutely everything, but you can't. You literally can't. And I feel like that gives you a little bit of an ego as well. Like if you think that you're great at something and you're not, number one will always put my hand up. I'll ask anybody for help, and I learn right the way down from agent level. Like they're the guys on the front line. They're the ones that are experiencing everything fresh that's happening in the market or whatever's happening. And it's almost like, wow, like I didn't know that. And that's why it's important not lock yourself in a room either. Like never lock yourself in a room,
No.
be that person in an office. Like make sure you're going out there and actually getting to know your people, because you'll be very surprised what you could learn. And I don't shy away from that either.
So do you think for the guys on the phones, selling and doing customer service and all the things that you guys do, but selling especially because that's our
Yeah,
background,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Um, do you think it's harder now than when you did it?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's so much harder. There was a lot of there's a lot more red tape now for obvious reasons, which needs to be there because without it, like you've got nothing. But I think back in the day, it was you could say a lot more things that you can't say now, which wasn't great. Um, but I think actually what I've learned in sales, and I never used to think this way, but if you can educate a customer enough about what you're trying to sell them, they'll understand it better. And if you speak to them like an actual human being instead of some sort of robotic scripted person, you're getting that customers buying what you're selling because of you. They're not buying it because of the different clients that you're selling on behalf of. And the best people that make the most money in sales that I work with are the ones that have personal conversations with customers, the humanize absolutely everything, the pick up the rapport building, conversations about. I listened to a call yesterday, and it was a guy in one of our Glasgow offices, and he had a 15-minute conversation about a dog. And when I was listening, I was thinking, surely this is going to end. This is going to end. And it was 15 minutes with this woman who absolutely, you could tell she absolutely adored her dog. And he took the time to spend 15 minutes to talk about this little sausage dog that they've got. And it's almost like people would be saying, come on, speed it up. We've got sales to be, but that wouldn't have happened. And it's those tiny little
Mm,
like conversations that get things over the line. And I think, and also customers deserve it. They deserve it. If you
yeah,
if someone's ringing you, and we've all been there, you don't want someone boring. You don't want someone that's just trying to sell you something that you've already got and all of those things. You want someone that's actually going to educate you on the product that they're trying to give you, and and be nice about it, but also like inject a little bit of personality, change that person's day. That's what we're saying here. Make sure you change at least one person's day on the phone.
I love that. That's great because you're dead right. We often forget that we are customers. So
Yeah.
how would we respond? Now, of course, for us, it's like you kind of do a little assessment, don't you, when
Yeah.
people are ringing, like, oh, how is this call? But you're dead right. If somebody can make that connection
Mm.
and they can also leave you feeling like, oh, I'm glad I took that call, then happy days, and you're increasing the chances that
Yeah.
you're going to get the sale, especially if the customer's informed about what it is it can do for them to help them.
If it's a benefit for a customer and you've been polite and you've been nice and you've made that person's day, then your chances of that customer buying into you and buying what you're selling, they're higher than ever. It's obviously you go through different phases with people, don't you? And I think a lot of my sales agents, the main thing is to not take anything personal either, because again, as customers, you don't know what customer you're going to get, and you don't know what kind of day that customer's having, and it's making
Mm,
sure that they don't take it personal as well. But yeah, I mean, the energy that we create in the call center, it's no wonder that customers leave with a really good impression. Everyone is super happy all of the time. And there'll be a couple of people again that'll watch this and go, I wasn't happy yesterday because you done this, Callie, or whatever. But like it's just creating a really good environment for our agents to work in as well. That's like a really, 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 really super. I'm quite passionate about it actually. In constantly asking for feedback as well of what we could do better as a business. I think if I don't hear that, sometimes I hear it and I could kick myself. Why have I not thought of that, or why has it taken this long for me, like to know that that's happening? But actually getting that 360 feedback from the agent level up, it's so important.
Do you do that by just being around them and wandering around, or
Yeah, I mean, there's different ways where I'm constantly everywhere. I like to just have conversations, but we'll often put some surveys out as well. Just, some people are really brazen, Martin, and they'll come to me and be like, I can't believe you've done this, or I can't believe you've put this message out. That's the relationship that I have with people. And some people obviously aren't as comfortable, might not know us as well and whatever. So just giving them that ability to be anonymous if they want to be anonymous as well, and giving us some real feedback. And we take our own advice. Like we can never take that personal, because if someone's got a problem with how you're running a business, or there's things you could change or whatever, you got to take every tiny little thing. I'll give you an example. Rich had a session with some of our guys in Glasgow, and one of the things that came up was they wanted umbrellas because it's always raining, but they wanted them to be better branded umbrellas. And then I walked into the office yesterday and I was like, what's this? And it's a massive parcel of better branded umbrellas. So, right, like tiny little things like that,
yeah,
to most people don't mean anything. But you're living in a city where it's constantly cold and it's constantly raining, and you want to show off where you work, and they're walking around with these umbrellas. Like, just little stuff like that as well. It's
yeah.
super, super important that every single person has a voice. Because
Well, not
without them,
only
you've got no business, have you?
no, not only have they been heard, but they're taking pride in where they work and they're
Yeah.
they're showing it off. I mean, you need to celebrate that, right? And I'm it's never ever left me how important it is to recognize that people that are doing sales in our industry are the only ones that go to work every single day knowing you're going to fail more than you're going to succeed.
Yeah.
And if you can do that for any length of time and be happy doing it,
Mm.
so much of that is down to the leadership, the environment, the people around you, the culture, because it used to surprise people that had never done sales before. I'd say, giving sharing some stats with them about if you look over a year or 3 months or whatever the time period was, how many no's people have had and what that can do to you mentally.
Yeah.
And look at them. They're absolutely loving it. Our team are happier than yours.
Yeah.
And you're not even in sales,
Yeah.
and so I've got so much time and I think it's such a good indicator that you can tell straight away whether there's a good culture or not.
Yeah. Culture is it's the big boy in the industry. Without it, you can't succeed, and your people can't be happy, and people build a career based on culture. It's nothing else. Like people don't work for me. They don't work for, the people above me. They don't work for the managers, and like we work for them, and it's so cringe, right? And I know how many people you must hear say that, but it is so true, because it's almost like I'm a very huge advocate, and I have got a big influence in the culture. And again, it's because of the way that I'm built, and it's the way that my mindset is and all of that. But to get people to buy into the culture that you're trying to create, that it's super hard. It's really hard. It's not for everyone either. And people often say, "Oh, like I work in a company that's family vibes." And I used to say that, right? I used to say that a lot of years ago. And I got a good bit of advice from someone. It was almost like, they're not your family, they're your team, and it's two separate things.
Yeah.
And I used to be like, well, no, like I work here and it's a family. And then the more you start thinking about it, it's like, no, it's completely different to family vibes. This is a team, and every single part of that culture needs every single member of that team. So what doesn't work for someone, that's why you're constantly trying to adapt that culture, and you're constantly trying to change it. And it is the heartbeat of any call center. As far as I'm aware, it is the absolute heartbeat, because that determines whether you enjoy your place of work or not.
Oh, I agree. Well, tell us about Better then what you're responsible for, like locations, like number of people.
Yeah. So we have, so Betr has three offices and one working from home, like nationwide set. So we've got Sunderland office that has over 100 people in it. We have the Glasgow office, which has, I believe, over 220, 230, potentially more. We have the Wolverhampton site, which is our latest one, and that's just growing and growing and growing. And then we've got a nationwide site, which is every single person from the top of the country to the bottom of the country who work from home, and it's just purely working from home. So we've got four sites made up of obviously what I'm responsible for, which is predominantly sales. We then have customer service in there. We've got B2B in there as well, and we have broadband. We've got everything. I'm mainly responsible for all of the outbound dial and sales campaigns across all four of those sites. So I do quite a bit of traveling, and it's so fun, Martin. Like what you find is the people that you meet in Sunderland are absolutely nothing like the people living that you'll meet in Glasgow. The people in Glasgow are completely opposite of the people in Wolves. And then you've got people that work from home, and every single person's different. So I sometimes try and like mirror my accent for no reason other than it just happens. And I've got the worst Scottish accent you'll ever hear in your whole entire life, and I'm not going to do it either. Um, but I'm responsible for overseeing all of those clients, overseeing all of those people, all of the managers, the agents, the ops, the seniors, everything. We work with some really, really big clients, and I know everyone probably says this, but so grateful for those as well. Like so generous, so supportive. We get a really good day on sales, like a huge day on sales. The clients ring in and they're like, yeah, like they're also part of what we do it better as well. Um, so yeah, absolutely class. I love it. I love anything to do with sales. I love that high pressure environment. I love seeing people make money. Like when I say, commissions that we sign off in Betr, I look at them sometimes and I think, wow, like I don't think you'll ever get that anywhere else. In any other call center will pay out like the big bucks, and we expect a lot back from those guys as well. I love seeing people develop like internal promotions in the 18 months that Betr has actually been a thing. Incredible. Seeing people come from where I came from and what I'd done back in the day, but doing it a lot faster than me, quicker than me, at a better pace, and actually probably doing a little bit of a better job than I used to. It gives you so much like hope and pride for what's to come, like in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years of Betr, because you're watching yourself, really, aren't you? You're watching
Yeah,
yourself in real life, and you're thinking, I was never that good. So fast forward 10 years time, where is that person going to be in Betr? And
yeah.
if they're not in Betr, they're probably going to go on to do really, really great things. So yeah, really everything's just blew up in 18 months and breaking records. Like I never used to get that excited about it because I never really believed there were records. But when you see the numbers that even we were doing in the early days of Betr, and you've seen some of our posts, we're posting, we've done 1,000
Yeah.
sales in one day. Now that's like double, tripled, and it's like wow, like we've come on a long way. But yeah, couldn't do it without the staff, couldn't do it without the clients, and I think we've got something really, really special about Betr, and you can tell I'm so passionate about it. Like I treat this place as like it's my baby, and I think that's why I'm so invested, and everyone else around us is super invested. And you've got people like me 15 years ago who've got a headset on the head who are sharing the same vision that I'm sharing in a director level. And it's like, wow, that never, ever, ever used to happen when I was dialing. It just wouldn't be a thing that people talked about.
Listen, I get caught up in it. I get just listening to you talk every time I speak to Rich or Gary, James, or I see you guys at events, and also how you guys show up on LinkedIn,
Mm,
the Better account, but also you guys as individuals. For anyone listening, watching, go and follow Callie, go and follow Better, and all the guys because it's genuinely something different.
yeah.
It's refreshing to see your posts and to hear you talk, and it's not just you, everyone, and it's without it being like everybody repeating the same thing like a mantra that
Hmm.
might come across as not genuine. You're all different, but you all have the common denominator of real passion and pride for better, for
Yeah.
a love of the culture, and a desire to keep evolving. Like
Hmm.
understanding that you're not kind of going, oh yeah, we've made it. This is cushy. This is
Yeah.
great,
Yeah.
but always trying to move on. And I think there's something lovely about hearing you talk about looking at the people that you're responsible for and thinking, God, they're good, and look what's possible for them to achieve. Because a lot of the time, you're not aware of it in the moment, are you?
Yeah.
If you're there going, I remember the penny dropping for me, going, wait a minute, everyone around me started like me. How can I do that?
Hmm.
And now they for you guys, they see it all the time. You're talking to them about it, and as you said, there's something quite powerful about being a leader that surrounds himself with great people, better than who you are, even, and going, right, you guys are it, let's do it.
It's super important, and it's really important to tell people as well that they're great. Like a lot of people shy away from that, and people are first to tell someone if they're doing something wrong or where they can improve. And I'm a huge fan of that. I think if someone can improve, you should absolutely tell them. But a lot of people shy away from positive feedback, and it's just the world that we live in. But I think like not overly doing it either. Not every day, God, you're great, you're awesome, you're this. But if you speak to someone, especially like the team managers, when you're having that one-to-one time with your staff, and or even if I hear something from a team manager, I like to tell that person that they're talking about that I've heard it, because it hits different. Do you know what I mean? It hits different. And
Mm,
you want people to think that, people in director levels, senior manager levels, they're talking about you. That makes people feel important, but it's not lies either. Like it's the truth. So it's really important to give my to the team that report to me really positive feedback about how great they're doing. It's important for every single level to do that as well. But I think also just the infamous hello. I think God, like how many people don't say hello in a business is crazy. Like Rich comes on site, and you know what Rich is like, right? We are polar opposites, but we're very alike. And when he says hello to someone, they'll talk about it for days, Martin, like he's some sort of celebrity. And he's gonna love the fact I've said that, but it is true. It has this like everlasting effect. And I think it's just super important to give people feedback. Whether you're doing great, whether you're doing bad, whether you're doing amazing, whether you've really, really messed up, it's important that people hear that.
I think you make such a good point about how important it is for the very senior leaders, for your level, for people like Rich, to be a friendly presence
Mm-hmm.
around the teams. I can remember taking one of our um, directors. It was like director of operations, or maybe even director of sales, or something like that. When I was contact center manager, taking them around where our teams were located across these two floors, and afterwards, some of the team said, "Hey, is because we were an outsourcer, they were like, "Hey, is that a new client? Are you showing a new? Who is it? Are they another bank? What's going on?" And I was like, "That's our boss," and they were like, "Really?"
That's what
And
I
I
mean,
just,
though, isn't it?
I
That does
know,
happen. Like I've never worked anywhere where what I experience day in day out with, Rich and Ian and all of these different people in these positions where that's super approachable. Like you can go up to them and have a conversation about the football. I mean, Rich is constantly talking to the lads, the girls about Liverpool because they're doing terrible at the minute. But and he'll have that banter, and I've never experienced that from that level upwards. And again, it all goes back to culture. Like, now I think I've said this to you, but like you make the title does not make you, and that is every time someone's promoted within Better, it's super, super really important to us that we say that to someone. Like, because I've experienced where you try and think the title is now your new shiny toy and you can use it and you can abuse it. You can't. Like, you get to choose what type of manager you're going to be. You get to choose what kind of a senior agent you're going to be. You get to choose what kind of head of sales, head of whatever department. And that's the beauty of what we're doing in this industry. Like, there's no rule book. Like, well, there is a little bit, and I've probably broke all of them, but there's no like sort of regimental path that you have to follow. You get to decide what kind of style you have, and not losing your personality will dictate that style for you. And every single person that comes through the ranks and better, I don't want them to be like someone else. I don't want someone to be a carbon copy of me. And I don't want the next manager to be a carbon copy of James or Abby or Gary or whoever. And it's like, no, like find what works for you, find your strengths, and create your own management style. And that's how you create really strong leaders. And that's how I've got so many great leaders at Better, because they're all completely different. And it's so crazy to look at. Like, because I think, God, I would never do that. But actually, that is such a great idea. Oh, wow, you're wild. But you know what it is? It works for you. So keep doing it. And every single person having that individuality about them, I think that's what makes like the best leaders, hands down.
Oh, I completely agree. And I'm really interested. You mentioned something earlier about you don't get stressed,
Mm,
and as we've talked about lots, I've done the same role. We've been in the same world, and that's a real skill. How do you sort of share that with the people that work for you so that they don't get stressed as well?
I think everyone looks up to someone in a business, and you have to always be very, very mindful of that. And if someone sees the director of sales flapping, panicking, or stressed, or whatever, you're not giving anyone any hope, really, are you? Let's not lie. But I think it started off as like a bit of a lie, to be honest with you, where you are really stressed and you're forcing yourself not to show it. And my face, I've had no Botox or anything, and I know you're probably thinking I have, but I haven't. But I've had no Botox or anything. But I think I can't hide my emotions, right? I'm
Yeah.
such an emotional person, Martin, like really emotional. And if I am annoyed, or if I am stressed, or if I am angry, or if I am upset, or if I am really happy, my face will always tell you. And it's something that I've tried so long over the last few years to really focusing on. And it's like, if the person I report into is having some sort of crazy panic attack and they're super stressed, and that then projects onto me, I'm then going to go and project that onto the guys that report to me, and then vice versa and vice versa. I also realized that like it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
It's honestly not that big of a deal. Like, no one's died, and it can be fixed. And someone also once said to us is, if you make a mistake, you've got, as long as you've got a solution for it, it's fixable. Do you know what I mean? You can do it. And I think, and someone also said to us that it should never be stress, it should just be pressure. And I've clung on to that for like the last year, because it's like, God, you're right. Like, it's not stress. I
Yeah.
work in a high pressure job, I've got a high pressured environment. So as long as you can change and mold yourself into making that pressure good pressure and not bad pressure, you'll never project it onto people. And don't get us wrong, you have difficult conversations with people, and it's not all fun and games and rosy. It's not, right?
Yeah.
It's the world we live in. But that's a different type of, that's not stress. That's you just probably just asserting a little bit of authority to make sure people are still sort of hanging on the back of standards that you've set and expectations. But stress is for losers. That's what I'll say. It's for
I, I
losers.
I love that, and I'm not going to claim this as my own, but I love any sort of sport, and I was watching this documentary like behind the scenes of American football, and they're so scientific about all of the games and the players go through so much to get into a team. They are the
Mm.
pinnacle of their game, right? And one of their coaches said to them, and I've used this for years, pressure is a privilege.
Yeah,
So, you feel pressure and you're in a pressurized environment because you're good,
yeah,
and this is a good place to be.
yeah.
The alternative is you're somewhere where nothing matters, or
Hmm.
there's a lot of apathy, or it is stress, but pressure is because we're trying to achieve something
Yeah,
together. We're chasing something, we're working together. And if you're in a leadership position, you should feel that pressure because
yeah,
it is a privilege.
yeah.
You're leading this team, and it was like I was like, I get it. That is amazing.
It's so true. It's literally so true because it's like you can flip something from a negative to a positive, and stress and pressure, that is what you're doing. You're literally
Yeah.
flipping a negative into a positive. I mean, a good example to last week or the week before, um, we were pushing for 10,000 sales just on one campaign for just a week. Literally 10,000
Wow.
sales, one campaign for a week. And we missed it by 77 sales because we thought we had it in the bag. And we still delivered a record breaking week for that client and never been done. And we all went home so deflated. We were like,
Yeah.
can't believe that's happened. And when you reflect on it, it shows that you care and it shows you're
Yeah.
passionate, but it also shows like how important like pressure is because you've still done something crazy great, and all of us are kicking ourselves because we want more, we want more, we want more. And again, really good example of pressure because if without it, you cannot do sales. You can't do sales without
No.
pressure. They go hand in hand, don't they?
Oh, I love because you will be able to say to that team 77 at some point in the future, and everyone will go, okay, yeah, I get it. Do you know
Break
what I
it down
mean?
across 5 days. You know what I mean? Break it down by hours. Don't even get me started.
And this it is a bit spooky. We should have hit record before when we first started talking, but me and you are so similar. My face. That's why I've never learned poker
Mm.
because I know I'll be like, oh, I've got a really good handle. This is great. Because and it used to both help and hinder me in leading a team because I'm generally positive and
Mm.
high energy. But when I'm thinking, it looks like I'm in a mood.
Yeah.
So I'd often get my team going, "Are you okay? Have we done something wrong?" I said, "No, why? It's just your face." I said, "This is my thinking face."
Yeah, no, so true. Honestly, everyone always thinks I'm in a mood or I'm having a bad day if I'm actually doing some solid work. I'm not jumping around the call center dressed as Santa Claus, or I'm not like doing a team huddle or whatever. If I'm actually really getting stuck in, Martin, and my laptop and my head, I'm in work mode. Like people think I'm angry. Like
Yeah.
tapping the Cali, and I'm like, I need to change. Maybe I do need Botox. Maybe I do. I need to sort it out.
Or a little sign that says, "I'm fine." I'm
Yes.
just thinking,
That's literally it. You should copyright that and create
yeah.
some own signs.
Now, hang on though. You mentioned something there. Father Christmas
Mm,
dressing up as.
yeah, it's me. It's me yearly go to. It's been my tradition for like 12 years, and I can. Do you know? Every year we'll put Christmas incentives on for the guys, and it's do X amount or hit this KPI, and you're in for a draw to win a prize. And I just can't give it up. I have to dress up as Santa. I think I've got some sort of weird obsession fetish or whatever, something, right? But I just enjoy it so much because I know how much they enjoy it. And I can pass that torch to anyone at any point so I can actually focus on maybe something a little bit more, look at the revenue or look at this or look up, and I can't, Martin, I can't give that job to anyone else. I feel like
You
I have
keep
to.
it.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Have you done it already?
Yeah, I do it every day. So it's like 10 days to Christmas or whatever the incentive is that Abby's come up with. But every day someone wins a prize. So every day I dress up as Santa. And I'm in our Glasgow office tomorrow and Friday. And I've actually packed it. It was really expensive costume. It's not something cheap. We've really pushed the boat out. I've actually packed it in a little duffel bag, and I'm taking it to Glasgow with us, and I'm going to do exactly the same in Glasgow tomorrow.
I cannot. We have to see that. We have to see that.
I've got plenty of footage. You should come in. You should honestly, you should get a train to Glasgow tomorrow, and you can be Santa's little helper.
I would. I'd quite happily dress up as an elf.
I would absolutely love that. I need someone to carry all the gifts. That would be great.
Well, and I'm definitely. I spoke to Rich the other day. Definitely coming up to see you guys in the new year. I can't wait to spend some time in the operation. And Callie, honestly, this has been. I've enjoyed this so much.
Me too.
You're absolute superstar, role model, and a real living proof of being your authentic self and your hard work, your self awareness. Honestly, you're inspiring. You really are.
Really appreciate that. And thank you so much for having us on. It's been a long time coming, but I've really enjoyed it.
Got you in the end.
Got us in the end. Really enjoyed it. Thank you. Do
No
appreciate it.
problem. And have a Merry Christmas.
Yes, you too. Stay safe.